Hello and welcome to Two Girls, One Pod. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Tina, filling in for Crystal.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. I don't know. We said that you're probably going to take over Crystal's spot while she's gone. I did threaten her. I told her that.
Did you now? Okay, so she's really got to pull out all the stops when
Oh,
she
yeah.
gets back.
I was like, well, you're taking vacation. So Tina's going to be the new Crystal.
Well, it is
Oh,
what it is. Sorry, Crystal. I'm gunning for your job.
we tried. We tried. She out and enjoy it and living her best life. I'm like, I'm just jealous because I want to get off the island at this point.
I know. We're all living vicariously through Crystal right now and her posts.
And her boat crossing or bridge crossing and
boat adventures. Yeah. Whatever.
Being a passenger. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah. She did well though.
She did really well. I'm proud of her. I would have just gotten drunk, but she did it the sober way.
Good for you, Crystal. Good for you.
We're proud. Let's give her some flowers. Here's her flowers.
A round of applause for Crystal.
Anybody who doesn't listen to this regularly is like, what the fuck are they talking about? Because this is a bonus Big Brother episode. So this is Big Brother 23, episode 6. And tonight we're going to discuss eviction night.
Eviction.
Yeah. So, oh my God.
I'm excited here whatsoever.
Like this was, nobody was surprised, right? How do we feel about the opening of the episode? So they always recap the last episode. Frenchie tried to pull some votes his way.
Yeah.
Telling everybody, my note about him is that Frenchie is a wild character. That was the note I made today.
Well, Julie said it right at the very, very beginning when she said Frenchie could be paying for his wild ways.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he played too hard, too fast.
Yep.
He came out guns blazing and I mean, you know what? I don't even think it was that he played too hard, too fast. I think he got ahead of himself when he was playing.
There was too many promises made. He was, having too many you can have too many conversations at the very beginning of the game.
Absolutely.
And everybody talks to everybody at the very beginning of the game. Because they're trying to feel out who they can trust, who they can figure they can align with. And you know what, when everybody's doing that and he's putting in, too much work at the very beginning, it's only going to get back to everybody. And again, that's what gives him the loose cannon name.
Yeah. And I mean, then the other side of it is that like he's talking to everybody, he's making all these promises, but then he's getting this extra paranoia about him and going around the house and asking these questions and putting people in uncomfortable situations like out in the open. And I think that put a big target on his back too, because even if he wasn't going around making all of these promises, the walking around and like being sneaky, and then like, who was it that he asked? Was it Alyssa? Remember he said to her, like, do you have, and when we were back like to, the first week, he said, are you in an alliance with anybody? And he asked her flat out in front of like 4 other people. So like stuff like that, I think also painted a big target on his back because he kind of acted like he owned the house.
And everybody feeds off of everybody's energy at the very beginning. So if you have that one person that's going around the house that's causing that paranoia, you're feeding off that, so you're getting paranoid. So nobody wants that feeling right at the very beginning of the game. And he just he fed the house with paranoia.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he tried to rally some votes. He went around but I had to laugh because the way he rallied votes, he promised every single person in the house the same thing again.
Exactly. And at this point, people know that he can't keep his promises. So, it's unfortunate. I mean, as entertaining as he was, too much too soon.
And I mean, someone's got to go every week. Like, I got to say, I'm loving this entire cast. Like, this whole cast is amazing. So, like, I don't want to see any of them go. But yet, every week, somebody's going to have to go home. So, like, as much as it sucks that it was Frenchie, it does make sense. I think the house did the right thing by voting him out.
It's going to be interesting to see what the dynamic of the house is now that Frenchie's gone, because he was such a focus
Yeah.
for the last 2 weeks that it's going to be interesting to see who they start to focus on now.
Well, I'm excited to see other people.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a lot of like, if you ask me, who's in the house now, I'm like, well, there's two Dereks, there's Xavier, there's Brittany, there's Frenchie. Okay, Brent and Whitney, but it's like it takes me one or two to remember the other ones. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I
Yeah.
think that's because there's little focus on a few other people, and all the focus was on Frenchie. So, like you said, it'll be nice now, like he's gone, and it's going to be interesting to see where they put the focus. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I know
I think I
based
know
on
too.
today's episode, which I'm excited about. I think these first 2 weeks were already like good, but I think we're about to get like
I think it's going to get really interesting and really strategic now, because, like I say, with Frenchie in the house, that was your
he's too
target,
erratic.
no matter
There's
what.
nothing to follow.
But now it's going to be, I think you're going to see multiple targets. I think you're going
Mhm.
to see people putting out multiple and different names. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all unfolds now.
And I want to see the teams starting to partner together. Like I mean, I might be jumping ahead of myself. But I loved, and I am jumping ahead of myself, but I loved the King Queen
Hmm.
duo. I thought that was
Yep.
really smart. So instead of like, and I was wondering when that was going to happen. So instead of like this whole slaughterhouse alliance that French created, but everybody kind of knew it was false, and then it blew up immediately. Now you've got the Kings, which is like Kyland and his crew, and the Queens, which is name someone from the Queens.
Um, where were my notes? I had it written here.
Testing your knowledge.
Yeah, forget it.
Well, it's four other people.
Yeah,
And
good deduction. Good deduction on that one.
Tiffany's in the Queens, right? Right.
Well, yeah, yeah. The Queens is the Kyland, Tiffany, and
Oh,
Claire, aren't they? Because they're the Queens, and then the Kings is who we had a conversation with.
okay,
Is that what
yeah.
I'm?
All right. What are the other? The Kings and the Queens are uniting
Yeah,
as one big team instead of, this big slaughterhouse. And they all seem to be on the same wavelength. So
yeah,
I think that moving forward, you're probably going to see the other two teams do the same thing.
yeah. Colin was definitely smart in getting the Kings on his side, and setting in that particular conversation.
Mhm.
So before he had that conversation, he had a conversation with the Aces, I believe.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I jumped right ahead. Yeah, no, he did.
yeah, it was like Hannah, Brent, Derek, and Whitney.
Mhm.
Now, and although Kyland is kind of somewhat paired up with Derek X, he didn't get the full vibe that he wanted from that particular team.
I made a note
So
about that.
that is going to be interesting because he also then used that to his advantage when he had a conversation um, with the Kings.
Yeah.
So he essentially basically put the target right then and there on Brent and Whitney.
I thought that was so smart.
Very
So
smart.
he's coming off the HOH. He knows, okay, I can't play next week, so I could be a target. So he's thinking, okay, who can I align with now? We're gonna get Frenchie out of the house. Who can I align with to make sure that I don't become a target because I'm coming down off the block now?
Yeah.
He asks the aces, and it was very awkward. I had to make a note. I just kind of said,
Oh, it was.
they all just looked at him like so I mean, that right there tells him everything he needs to know. He knows
Absolutely.
now
So that's
how
why
his
he went
team's
to the next
targeting him.
group. Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Yes.
I do love that he's got like the duo with Derek X. I think that's a great duo to have.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was brilliant. So he already knows, he's like, okay, I just felt out this team. They could have easily lied to him and said,
Yeah.
we will definitely keep you safe. Yeah, sure, like shoot the shit, whatever. But the fact that I think he threw them off by asking them.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the best way to get the true response.
Exactly.
If they're
They
not
were
expecting
supposed to.
those questions, then you get the actual raw results.
Yeah, like full reaction. And I think that was smart. And then so he went ahead and then went over to Queens or Kings, whatever group he's not in. And
Okay.
and they all agreed that he said, the slaughterhouse is no more. Let's put these two teams together.
Yep.
And why don't we target the aces will say, or these two people in the aces, because I think they're strong competitors or whatever the reason being. And everybody seemed to be on the same page. So now you're starting to get a line drawn now.
Yeah.
Right. Which it's going to be so good. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
It was definitely a very, very smart move for him doing that.
Yeah. We got a lot of strategic players this year, like a lot of smart people in here. How do we
And you have some that are, you can see that they're very strategic, but you have the other ones that are playing that low key strategic game as well. And
Yeah.
there's a few of them. So it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how they kind of, pan out over the next few weeks.
I honestly don't know how anybody is getting evicted, but they have to. Like I just everybody, I'm like, no, they're not gonna go yet. But somebody has to go. But
Yeah.
everybody's playing such a great game, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it. How do you feel about Kyland and Sarah Beth?
That was a great great little moment there,
Sweet.
for sure. Yeah, that was very sweet.
I made a note about them. I said I think that they're the forever and always type of showmans. Like I honestly think if they become a showmans, or even if they don't become one in the house, they had some serious vibes. Like, and I mean,
I see. I don't know if they're going to be showmans. I took it as more of, like they're such, they just have that deep bonded connection, that is very, like, they're very, very good besties in the house. I don't know. I can't see. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I know what you mean, but I think they're probably going to be showmantic.
You know what? I hope I'm wrong. I hope they do. They're cute.
They were so
I love
cute.
Kyland. She's super cute as well. But I see it more as,
Friendship.
they're gonna be there for each other through thick and thin.
Yeah, I hope so. Either way, like you said, I mean, the bonds that you form in the house anyway are like lifetime bonds. So
Yeah.
it was just really, really cool. I was like, I like them
It
together.
was a very nice moment between them, though. It really was.
Yeah, it was. And I like Sarah Beth. I thought I was gonna like her, but I thought I'd be really annoyed by her.
Mm.
Like I really, maybe it's the voice. It's you know what I mean? Like the baby voice. Like I thought she was gonna be like really, um, I'm really liking her. She's
Yeah.
cute as pie. Like she is very smart. She sits back, she strategizes, she has conversations. I think she's gonna be a force.
You know what? You can say that for just about anyone in that house right now. You really can. They're all they're playing their own unique strategic game.
Yeah,
They're great.
so good. Man, I love this show. And it's for $750,000 this year. Every time they say that at the beginning, I'm like, Jesus. Like, come on. Anyway, yeah. And then I've got notes here about the kings and queens. So we jumped ahead.
Yeah.
But
And then my note goes right into Capitals. Frenchie's gone.
yes. Oh, okay.
The vote,
right.
and Frenchie's gone.
Frenchie's gone. I mean, I figured about that. I put up an Instagram story where I asked who's going home tonight. And
100%.
no, because I accidentally clicked on Brittany. When I put it up, I clicked it by mistake and I'm like, oh no. And then it was like 67% Brittany or something at some point.
Oh my God.
But when
I got to look up, because I did a poll on Twitter. Let me look up to see what the results were on my poll.
Oh, guaranteed it's all Frenchie, because I was the only one who voted Brittany.
It was 96% Frenchie, 4% Brittany, with about 300 and some odd votes.
Okay, yeah. So I think the people who voted Brittany probably just voted it because you had to expect the unexpected. So maybe they were like, well, everybody expects Frenchie to go home, so maybe they'll turn on him. Right. I don't see a lot of your season had the holy shit, they're changing it up hourly effect.
Oh, listen, when I tell you things shifted 10 minutes before a live eviction, it shifted that, like, it was insane.
Like that's what I love. And I think that's why I always keep saying about Big Brother Canada. Like people, I'm new to Big Brother Canada. Like I've always been a Big Brother fan, but Big Brother Canada is like my new obsession. But when I watched it and like I was like, none of these people are afraid to make moves. Like the house would flip flop, you'd be back and forth. There was
It
back
was
doors and
everywhere.
surprises. And what I find with the American one is that it happens sometimes, but most times the house is usually unanimous or they vote together or, so
Yeah.
it'll be nice if we can move into the rest of the season and see some things kind of shake up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it definitely that's one thing I got to say about the Canadian one. It was all over the place. I mean, there were times where, you get approached on a flip, 15 minutes before, and you literally had to put your foot down and say, "No, I'm going
Yeah.
with this particular vote."
Yeah.
It's like, holy
It
crap.
was so edge of your seat watching. You're watching it and you're like, I'm so stressed out, So I'm hoping that happens moving forward. I did make a note when they were talking about putting up Brent and Whitney because Brent is my dude. He's your dude too.
Well,
So
he is because I have him in my draft.
yeah, he's like, I
But
want him to
he
win.
was, and it's because I had a midway pick.
Right. Is Whitney your other one?
No, Brent and Claire were the two
Claire.
I ended up with in the draft.
Right.
Now, the two that I wanted got picked ahead of mine.
Can you
The
say
two
who
that
they
I
are?
wanted were Tiffany and Xavier.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cause like top picks.
Yeah,
Top
those were the
picks.
two I wanted in the draft. But hey, you know what? The other sneaky little shit got it before me. So
That happens. You want to say who the sneaky little shit is, or is that an off-camera topic? I'm gonna throw
my
someone under
girl
the bus.
Tara took Tiffany out from under me.
I should have known that's who you were talking about. Like I should have just been able to tell.
I can't remember who got Xavier. I think it was Braden had the pick right before me.
Oh,
I think it was Braden who took Xavier. I was like, damn you, Braden.
he was like Xavier to me jumped out right away, like before bios, right? Like
Yeah.
I was like, this guy, he's just got that look to him, like he's gonna go far. But yeah, I did say I will be sad if Brent goes, mostly just because he's my little big brother crush. But it would be a smart move for the house. Like any of them.
I think right now it's for Brent, it's guilty by association.
Yeah.
He's now the target because he was associated with Frenchie.
Yeah.
And I think that's just where it's gonna head with Brittany and Whitney this week.
Yeah. Yeah. That which makes sense. And then I wonder about Derek F too. Is he going to become a target soon for that same reason?
Yeah, but see, I think he'll play it off more that Brent and Whitney are bigger targets.
Yeah.
So I don't see him going too soon. But yeah, I mean, he could be the third.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. It's so hard to tell, honestly, because we haven't seen a lot of what everybody thinks of each other. Like
But
now.
yeah, and exactly. That's right. That's right. And I think this week we'll start to see where people are kind of veering towards now, now that Frenchie's gone.
Yeah.
You know, Derek F, I mean, he's a great personable player too. So, people seem to like him in the house as well.
Yeah, I think he's doing well. I do have a question though. So this boggles me every time I see it. It happens season after season, all the time. So Brent was talking about, oh, we got to send the girls home because two guys are gone. And what is with the fucking weird girl versus guy divide that happens in every season of like it didn't happen in your season. I didn't see season 8. I did go back and watch season 7, and season 7 was a huge girls guys,
There were several attempts to have a girls alliance in our season. But for whatever reason, the girls just wanted to pair up with the guys.
Yeah.
We attempted it,
Yeah.
but hey,
So
you know
is
what?
that like, but why? Like that's what I don't know. It always strikes me as weird. Is it like let's make a girls alliance just because it's girls? Because like
No, it's because I think you
guys
never
win.
get a girls alliance that actually succeeds in these Big Brother shows.
They break up.
For whatever reason, they'll go 2-3 weeks and then all of a sudden they're going to break up, whether it's cattiness or whatever. I don't know.
You know
But
why I think?
uh-oh.
I know, right? I think it's because girls are more manipulative than men, just as a true nature. And I think that we're able to control men easier than we are to control women. So I think that maybe like not, and I mean like subconscious. Like I don't mean like they're in a girl's alliance and like I can control this person better. I feel like maybe subconsciously we know that we'll have a better handle on things if I'm in an alliance over here because you could pull the strings in the background a little bit more. Whereas if you're in a girls' alliance, we might all be too strong-headed.
I can see your point. I mean, I definitely see your point.
You're just wrong. That's stupid, Melissa. That's
No, not at all, not at all. And in some cases, that's probably the case.
yeah.
I don't know what it is about the Girls Alliance. They never come to fruition and they never last.
Because I feel like if I was in the house, and again, speaking from all of my experience inside the house, but I always say that like, if I got in there and I know you twist and turn, you have to adapt, but I would just assume that I would want to pair up with like a go with the flow situation. Like I'm going to pair up with the person who I feel like the best connection with and the best person who adapts the most to my game as well, as opposed to being like, I want to pair up with another girl because we're girls. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, I mean you definitely gotta go off vibes, in
yeah,
terms of who you're
yeah,
gonna connect with too, right?
yeah.
You do have to find that at least one person that you can feel that you can truly trust.
Yeah.
You know, without that, you're really flying solo.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny as I say all that now, but I also say that if I ever got on and there was another Newfie on the show, that I would definitely have like a final two Newfie alliance. And I
You
feel like
got
that's
to.
like an unwritten code.
Oh, definitely,
All
definitely.
Newfies.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So anybody listening to this who's gonna try out for Big Brother Canada season 10, if there are two Newfies in the house, and I probably shouldn't even say this because I want to try out for it, but if there are two Newfies in the house, it might be smart to separate them early. Shocking. If I get on and there's another Newfie and we get separated because of this recording right now, I'm gonna be pissed. I think a little bit too far-fetched.
Oh man, oh man.
I know you're like, Melissa, I'm a whirlwind. There's a lot goes on up here. Where are we to? How do we feel about Brittany's speech?
Oh, it was cute. She definitely put some effort and thought into that. I gotta say,
I was
good
thinking,
on her.
so I loved it. I really do like her drive. Like she's fierce. But I was just watching it and I was thinking, I'm loving this speech, but my husband, he doesn't watch Big Brother with me. All I was thinking about was he would be in a shell. Like he would probably have his sweater up over his face while it was happening because he gets embarrassed through people. Like he can't watch American Idol and like all of this stuff. Like if something embarrassing is happening or that would be embarrassing to him, he can't witness it happen to other people. So I was watching that and I just kept thinking about him in my head. I'm like, if he walks in the room right now and sees this girl rapping, he is just going to turn right back around and walk out again. That's all I could think.
Oh, you know what? Good on her. Good on her.
Oh yeah, like she's so spunky. I really do like her personality. I don't know if it'll get her far because we haven't seen a lot of strategy come out of her yet, but I like her overall as a person.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the vote is 11-1. Frenchie gets so okay. I did miss it, and I should have rewound. Who voted for Brittany?
Um.
I
I
made
had it
a
on the
note
tip
that
of
it
my
was unanimous, and then Julie was like 11-1, and I'm like, what the fuck? Who did I miss?
tongue. Derek F.
Oh, okay, yeah, and I mean that's his like ride or die. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that makes sense. I did love Frenchie's exit when he left. I thought that like that was nice. Like he was like, let's all hug the way we came in.
Yeah.
He seemed like a real person after he was evicted.
I think for the most part, in that house when you're going.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably had maybe a couple of days to kind of come to terms with that. And he's probably had a couple of days to reflect on, why he's going home and what had happened and all that. So yeah, good on him. He, you know what, he exited with the class and
which was unexpected. If we had to place bets last week and say how he was going to go out the door, I would have said like kicking and screaming. You know what I mean? Like I did like his exit. And I made a note that I think the house just made him crazy. Like I think that he's probably really genuine and really sweet and like an overall good guy. But when he got into the house, he went a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I'm telling you, the minute you step inside, things get amplified.
Yeah.
You can't understand it until you've experienced it. It does strange things.
Craziness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to watch. I made another note as well because he was talking to Julie about how he was saying that, when he entered the house, he wanted to do things differently. And, you always see the old guy going first. And I'm like, is he supposed to be the old guy? Isn't he like 33? Like I thought I heard that he was 33 years old.
Yeah, I heard he was in his early 30s too.
Right? He's like that.
Because Tiffany's the oldest. Tiffany's the oldest in the house right now.
Yeah. So I don't know. I had to make that note because I was like, isn't he like, because I'm like, don't call me old, Frenchie. Like, fuck off. Don't be calling me old.
Yeah. Don't be calling me old.
Tina's like, I was the oldest person on my season. So
I was the oldest.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, we go into the HOH comp. And how did you feel about seeing Tom Green doing these little in the streets? Are you not a fan of Tom Green? Is it because he's
sorry, Tom. I'm not.
Is it the awkwardness?
It's just not my type of comedy.
The over the top.
Yeah, for me, I like a good sarcastic comedy.
Yeah.
Those kind of quick sarcastic comments. This type of comedy is just not my comedy.
Yeah, like very, very animated, like big, and I don't know. I call him over the top. Yeah. Over the Tom.
Over the Tom. There you go.
Roll here tonight. Yeah, okay. So
you're firing him out there.
At first, I was watching it and I was answering the questions and I was like, I'm deadly. Like I'm getting all of these. And then the second video played and she said, did somebody walk between the whatever letters of Ottawa? And I went,
I got that one right. Myself and Sherry were doing it as well. We were firing it up.
Like, that's hard. They're hard comps.
Hey, you know what? You only have you have to look at all the details, right?
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair to myself, I was only half paying attention to what, like the actual, I was more so like,
oh yeah, sure. Right? You know what? If you're submitting an application video, you got to start paying attention to this shit now.
Yeah. Like true though.
All right. Get your practice in.
I feel like I need to go back to the Global TV app and just fucking stream all the seasons and take notes. And I might do that anyway.
Hey, you know what? If you're serious about your applying, get those practice nights in.
Hang on, Tina, can you say that again? I'm just gonna make some notes here. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, because that's what I was looking at, and I'm thinking, like, man, these comps are fucking no joke at all. Like, I'm all talking about how great I would be at such and such competition, and then I'm like watching it, thinking, like, actually thinking about it. I'm like, that's hard. That's not.
It's different too when you're there in the moment because you have all this extra pressure. Again, like I've said before, everything's magnified 10 times over in that house. Yeah. So even the pressure you feel during a competition, it's like you're thinking about the pressure. You're trying to calm yourself down. You're trying to think of what you're supposed to remember. You're trying to, it's such a whirlwind during those competitions. It's crazy.
Oh,
it's amazing though. It's great.
Yeah. It's the best worst.
There's nothing like it. Yeah.
Like I'm so happy to be this stressed right now because it's a different type of stress. It's the stress you sign up for, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So then Xavier wins a new HOH. I was
love it.
So happy to see him pull out a win because everything we haven't seen a lot of them. Like they haven't.
No, and I've got a few notes there about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Bring it on. Read the notes.
So like, it's going to be interesting to see how he plays now this week because he has been one of those low key kind of observe kind of players. He's I think he can be very strategic, but he has been playing a low key game so far. So now he has to kind of play the game because he's HOH. So it's going to be interesting to see now what we'll learn about where his head is to in the game, what he's thinking, who he's going to align with. Yeah, so I think we're going to see some really kind of solid stuff coming out of Xavier this week, and I'm really excited to see it.
Like, I'm down for it. Like, I want to see his negotiating lawyer skills put to the test, like I want to
Yep.
see him puppeteer. I want to see like the fucking veto comp. Like, I'm excited for this week. I think it's gonna be
This week is going to be wicked.
yeah. So all right, so the Kings are safe. So what are our predictions? Who's going on the block?
I think it's going to be Brent and Whitney.
I do too. I felt like when he won, I was like, okay, great, but it's also making our predictions really easy because they set that up in the beginning when they were talking.
But see, again, you never know, right? They set that up, so it could be someone completely different. Who knows?
True.
I honestly think it's going to be Brent and Whitney, though.
I think so too. Yeah, I think it's going to be Brent and Whitney. I don't know.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Brent's the target and he ends up
veto
getting out of it, and Whitney then becomes the target because Brent has that smooth social skill too, right?
Oh, I know. It's what makes me like him so much. That sweet little personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like big old meathead, but then also like very down to earth and very chill. So I'm like, all right, I like this guy.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that was I love these quick little episodes, like these little reruns. It's like
they're great. They're great recaps.
I was thinking about it today too, because so Crystal's on vacation. She doesn't have time to watch it this week. So I know she's got like her PVR going and she's going to catch up when she gets home. But I'm like, she doesn't even really need to. She could just go back, watch this.
She could just tune in, tune in to the podcast.
She knows
and
what
boom,
happened.
we're telling her everything she needs to know.
Right. She take a couple of jot notes and bam, she's up to speed.
Perfect.
Good to
That's
go.
right. Yeah.
All right. Well, really looking forward to Sunday's episode. So anybody who is still listening to this, like, subscribe, share. I forget every fucking time.
You need to start off saying that shit.
Literally at the end of, if you go back through every podcast for the last, like, I don't know, 25 episodes, every one of them end off with us saying, please like, subscribe, whatever. And we always say, next episode, we're saying this at the beginning.
All right. So I'm going to have to put a little sticky note on the computer screen right here, up here somewhere, and say, remind Melissa.
No, you know what I'm going to do, or what we're going to do.
Oh,
Sunday, you're doing the intro.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah. So we'll do our little dance and then you intro. And then I'll say my name and then you say what's next. And you'll be like, subscribe, share. 2 Girls, 1 Pod featuring Crystal.
Featuring Crystal. With special guest Melissa.
Yeah, right? Who do we have on the pod today, Tina? Yeah, so I next week or Sunday, after Sunday's episode, because this is Thursday. This has been a hell of a week, T.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so
it has been. Bring on the weekend.
Yeah, like come on. Since Monday, I'm like, is it Friday yet? I need all the beer in the city.
Oh, little tidbit for you.
Yeah.
Tara got her ticket booked.
Okay, I'm gonna sign off. And we can discuss. All right, so if you're still listening, please come back and listen again. Tune in Sunday for our regular episode. You might be looking for a fresh episode Friday today. I didn't do one. I'll just be straight up. I've been working 12-hour days trying to get houses to stay together in our crazy real estate market right now. And I just didn't do a solo show this week. So tune in next week for a brand new one and Sunday for a Big Brother episode. And with
all right. See you later.
Do our dance off. I didn't have it ready. Go.